Well, day two of the president's testimony has just wrapped up a few moments ago. Yesterday, he told the commission he considered resigning when state capture first emerged. Ramaphosa has denied knowing about the decision to launch the Eskom inquiry. But he's told the commission that he recommended the appointment of Brian Molefe as Eskom CEO. For more on this, we're joined by Lawson Naidoo from the Council for Advancement of the South African Constitution. Mr. Naidoo, thank you very much for joining us here on ANC. And now, firstly, for instance, today, the president telling the Zondo Commission that he thinks, I think he used the words, we are being too harsh by thinking that those ministers and leaders who stayed within the party and that we label to have done nothing and watched as state capture happened, actually fought, they chose their battles and fought from within. What would you say to that?
Well, it's easy to say that now, and the question is always going to be, could they have done more? And I think the answer with hindsight is that, yes, they could have done a lot more. Could the president have done more? Perhaps he could also have done more. But the real question is, there are those who may say that they remained in government, in cabinet, in senior positions in order to fight those battles from within. But there are others who are currently serving in the national executive of Mr. Ramaphosa, who are clearly siding with the forces in favor of state capture, who were the lieutenants of the Guptas. And those people are still there, and the president has failed to act against them. And I think that's the issue that the president failed to deal with. He was pressed on that matter, particularly in relation to people in the state security sector. And, in my view, he didn't give a satisfactory response to that. To simply say that he's waiting for the report of the Commission of Inquiry is not good enough.
And I think that's been quite a lot of people's problems, besides journalists, but also South Africans who've been listening, saying that he's being very general with some of his answers, not giving much detail or anything that we can work with.
Well, he was. I mean, I think he, certainly in terms of what happened in the past, he was very, he didn't want to be specific, and he was trying to deal with that in very generalized terms. He was much more willing to be specific when talking about what is being done now and what they hope to do in the future to turn things around. But again, a legitimate criticism can be leveled at the president in that he hasn't acted swiftly enough to steer things in the right direction. To use the analogy that he himself used, that it's a bit like turning the Titanic around. Well, he now has his hand on the tiller. He can see the iceberg, but we're still not turning it around quickly enough.
But also, Mr. Naidoo, there's a part where he spoke about how the ANC was blindsided by the entire Gupta relationship and what to do with the Guptas because of the fact that the former president was friends with them. I think that probably had a lot of South Africans just thinking about that word blindsided, that what did it mean? Did it mean that you don't take action as swiftly as you should just because you know that they are friends?
Well, exactly, and it points to the lack of or the deficiencies in the ANC, the lack of a value system and moral fiber to confront something as blatant as the state capture that the Guptas and the former president were driving. And if the president is now saying that the ANC was unable to stand up to that, then it really calls into question the ability of the ANC to lead South Africa.